How many times have you found yourself with an empty bank account wondering, where the hell did my money go? Well, in this video, we're going to look at 15 invisible expenses that drain your bank account. But before we start, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Help me grow this project to spread knowledge about money management and saving. So let's get started with these 15 cursed expenses, which are the most insidious ones. Because it's true, sometimes we need to focus on the bigger expenses, the ones that have the greatest impact on our budget, to really make a big cut so we can properly reduce our expenses. But the most dangerous ones are the invisible ones, the ones you don't realize you're making. Every day it's 2 euros, then it's 5 euros, then it's 50 cents, it's 2 euros every day. These are expenses that when added up might total 100, 150, even 200 euros in a month. For a normal family with normal salaries, that's a big chunk. So let's figure out what they are and how to eliminate them. Number one, social expenses to avoid feeling left out. I know exactly what that means because I've been through it myself. When you have a group of friends who maybe want to go out for pizza, have an aperitif, go on a certain trip, do a certain thing, and you're there in that moment. And to avoid feeling left out or to avoid saying no because you don't have money, because obviously I can't look like the guy who doesn't have money or doesn't do something because he can't afford it or maybe because he wants to save that money. No, never. And so you end up spending money you shouldn't spend just out of fear of judgment to avoid being left out. If you think about it, these are stupid things. Because at the end of the day, you might find yourself struggling to pay a bill just to avoid being left out, just to avoid being judged by your friends. When you find yourself in a situation like that, you want to reach some savings goals, you want to change your lifestyle a bit because you realize you're wasting too much of your money. And if you have a group of friends who act like that, maybe living on installments, living paycheck to paycheck and struggling, well, my advice is to change your group of friends. Point number two, food waste at home. How many times does it happen that we throw something away because we forgot it at the back of the fridge? Or you buy something that's just a treat, but in the end you don't eat it. Time goes by, it expires, and you have to throw it away. Or maybe because we cook too much, but then, as a matter of fact, we just leave the leftovers there or even throw them away right away. So in the end, this is a waste. A waste that could be optimized to reduce what you spend on groceries at the supermarket, and in any case, avoiding waste is really the general rule for saving money. Point 3. Last-minute gifts. Sometimes we find ourselves forgetting, in fact, about a gift or something at the last minute. We might visit someone and want to bring a small gift. We stop at the first place we find, maybe at a little shop that's expensive as fire. And instead of spending, I don't know, 10 euros, we end up spending 15 or 20 because obviously the prices are inflated. I know it sounds silly, but guys, what I'm telling you is you shouldn't focus on that single expense. In that moment, you think, I spent 5 euros more, 2 euros more, or threw away 3 euros of meat. But we need to look at all these expenses from every angle. Number 4, wasted gas because you avoid planning and optimizing your trips. How many times, besides the fact that there are people who use the car for no reason when they could easily walk? And here too you might say, well, it's just 500 meters. Yes, okay, but 500 meters 10 times a month adds up to real consumption. Or sometimes we have to go somewhere to do something. We could also run other errands or optimize our trip, and we do that, but it means we're constantly going back and forth with the car. But it's not just about wasting gas, about using up fuel, it's also about everything else. Wear and tear on the car, brakes, mileage, everything that has to do with the wear and tear of the car. Point number 5, wasted electricity expenses. As I said before, waste is generally the number one rule when it comes to saving and wasting energy. As for lights left on, devices in standby in general, all the wastes of electricity and also gas. If we want to put it that way, it can definitely be that invisible expense, which, I repeat, is small, but when added up every month, every year, it's money. Point number 6. Breaking of objects and inexpensive things. Now, when we talk about saving, we always think about buying low-quality things, spending little, spending less. In any case, but actually, saving is the complete opposite. Because as far as I'm concerned, I really started saving by thinking about what my philosophy is. Few things, but of quality instead of buying a lot of low quality things that don't last and that you have to replace. And spending money twice, just buy something of quality once and that's it. And here I'll give you the example of my daughter who actually fell into this trap, but then she understood how it works. My 18-year-old daughter often uses earphones to listen to music at school, on public transport and at home. She's always connected to Spotify.
What happened?
When she wanted wireless headphones. I bought 20 euro ones, but they broke in 2 months. And bought another pair for 20 euros, same thing. They stopped working after 2 months.
What did she do the third time?
She got herself Apple AirPods. Obviously, she didn't get the latest model, but she got a model she could afford.
If I'm right, about 150 euros, enough for final headphones.
She's had them for more than 6 months, 8 months, and they're perfect. They work great. So those 40 euros she spent before on low quality headphones, if she had put them right away into good headphones, she would have spent much less.
She spent 150 euros on AirPods and 40 on others, totaling 190 euros. If she'd bought the AirPods first, 150 euros would have sufficed. Now,
this doesn't mean, guys, be careful that you should buy things you can't afford or things that are beyond your means, but simply to make smarter purchases. So buy fewer things, less junk. But the things you need, you buy of good quality so that they last over time and don't break. And like in this case, there are times when it's worth spending money, it's worth maybe making certain decisions, especially when it comes to your protection, the protection of your money. Now, the point is, if you protect your money, why don't you also protect your data? Every day, all of us use cell phones to manage our bank accounts, work, and often even access our investments. But most people never think about protecting all this information. I, for example, started using CyberGhost VPN for this very reason. Because nowadays, complex passwords are no longer enough. Nowadays, having a VPN is essential to protect your privacy.
CyberGhost VPN encrypts all your internet traffic and redirects it through secure servers.
It's easy to use, reliable, and has dedicated servers for streaming. And in fact, you can access more than 40 streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and many others.
Available on all operating systems and offers protection for up to 7 devices.
All this with a strict no-log policy. What does that mean, no-log? It means it doesn't save any of your online activities. I use it both at home and when traveling because it has servers in over 100 countries around the world. You're protected everywhere you go. Honestly, it's one of those things that makes you wonder, why didn't I start using it sooner? So maybe you're thinking, okay, but VPNs aren't for me anymore. You're absolutely right. The great thing is you have a 45-day free trial to see if you like the service. Otherwise, you can cancel right now without any problems.
From the link in the description.
There's also a special offer that includes 83% off the 2-year plan. Plus, you get 4 extra months for free. Point number 7, 3 for 2 offers that in the end aren't really offers. When you go to the supermarket, you need to be careful, you need to shop wisely, make conscious purchases, because the people in charge of marketing are very good at putting shiny things in front of you, making you believe you're saving money when that's not actually true.
Why?
Because they know very well that people get attracted by the colors and often grab the 3 for 2 deals without thinking about it. But if you compare it with other products on the shelf, maybe by looking at the price per kilo, for example, that product isn't actually a good deal. It's just the product they want to sell you.
It's about mindful shopping. Let me know in the comments if you want a video about it.
Point number 8. All purchases under 10 euros. All the knickknacks. All the little useless things under 10 euros. And the little thing, sometimes the trinkets or the phone holder, that one from the Chinese store, well, it costs 3 euros. Well, come on, it costs 2 euros. Sometimes, instead of buying something, we just want the joy of feeling like we have something new. We go buy some little trinkets, that's what I call them, to give as gifts for 2, 3 euros, 5 euros. These are the worst expenses I'm listing in this video. Record it, even in your phone notes. It only takes 30 seconds, write them down and total everything at the end of the month. This way you'll realize how much these invisible expenses affect your bank account. Okay, point number 9, unused automatic payments. Guys, you really need to pay close attention to automatic payments, especially when there are those offers. Subscribe and get the first month free. Why? If you forget to cancel, then the subscription starts.
And what if the subscription you selected because you didn't notice, maybe it's the annual one and you end up spending money?
I don't know, 60 or 100 euros, it's a problem. Really? Automatic payments are one of those things you really need to pay the most attention to. Because here too, those who work in marketing know this, and they use these strategies on purpose. Precisely because most people forget. And for sure, I'll at least get the first month from you, because when do you realize you forgot to cancel? When you see the payment for the first month go through. That's only if you monitor your expenses and your bank account. Maybe not daily, but at least fairly often. Number 10. Overlapping or useless insurance policies. Once, like, I happened to talk to a guy I knew, since he knows I deal with these things. We were having a chat and talking. He had 4, 5, 6 small insurance policies, then 20, 30, 50, just far too many. Of course, insurance is useful because you never know, but it's the same thing there too. After all, insurance companies rely on probabilities. And there are things where you say, okay, but what are the chances that it will happen? What if the chances are really low? Maybe that insurance isn't really worth it these days, as we now know well. That when we make a purchase on Amazon, what they offer us is, do you want protection for 2 years? Do you want protection for 1 more year? Do you want this? Do you want that? I always say no unless it's something really important. For example, since I'm a freelancer. Anyway, I have insurance for accidents, hospitalizations, and so on, because I don't have sick leave, I don't have anything, so I need to have at least the minimum. I have to protect myself. It's money thrown away, okay? But maybe that one time I get hurt and have to stop working, I get at least a minimum reimbursement. Number 11. Expenses for lunches and dinners out on the fly. Sometimes we find ourselves out and about. It's getting close to dinner time, and then you say, no, what a pain, it's already late, I don't feel like getting home and having to cook too. Let's eat out. I'll grab McDonald's, the Piadina, a sandwich, and a few other things to go. That's money leaving.
You said, Beba, I have to watch everything Madonna, but what kind of life is this? Always obsessively checking.
Unfortunately, you have an average salary, a low salary like so many Italians. Unfortunately, you have to have a certain philosophy of life. I mean, you can't afford to waste money. You can't afford not to respect your money. This is another topic I often talk about. And so to spend as if you earn 10,000 euros a month, because many times, guys, I see people who have a normal salary or a low salary and they act as if they have money. In the end, they don't realize it. Guys, I know, I've been through it too, so I totally understand if you're in this situation. In fact, I really understand you. But I also need to open your eyes. Sometimes I even need to throw the truth in your face. Because there are moments when we need someone to tell us, hey, what are you doing? But you don't see it, and I know, because then you get caught up in things every day. You get caught up in the routine. Maybe you're focused on earning more, but you're not focusing on avoiding wasting money, which is the same thing as earning more. If you save, every euro saved is a euro earned. So yes, act on your income, but also act on avoiding wasting and spending money unnecessarily. So please make sure you take care at home and outside. Yes, it can happen once in a while, but if it becomes a habit, it's not good, and it happens to me too. Honestly, this happens to me a lot too. We arrive, look at each other, then decide to just go home and cook. Point number 12. Interest on an overdrawn account and on the credit card. Guys, nobody gives you money for free. If the bank gave you an overdraft, you're paying for it because they're lending you that money and you're paying interest on it. This is money you need to be careful with when you have little of it. It's money that if you're struggling to make it to the end of the month, you need to watch out for. You need to consider this money because it adds to what you already have. And definitely one of these points, if you're watching this video, one or more of them apply to you. Try to imagine how much less you could spend each month. So be careful, especially with your credit card, because that's something you really need to pay attention to as well. A separate chapter for the credit card, but it's very, very dangerous. I've been through this myself too. For quite some time, for example, I found myself having to buy groceries with my credit card because I knew they would take the money the following month since I didn't have enough money to make it to the end of the month. I would get to the 20th, my fridge would be empty, so I had to do that. But then, guys, I got out of it, so don't worry because you can recover from this. Point number 13, bank fees. Here too, you have to be careful because those are the little stupid expenses that eat away at your account. The invisible costs that take money away from you. I know that if I withdraw money from another bank, I have to pay a fee. Of course, I don't have to go all over the city just to find my own bank. But again, if I think ahead and withdraw money with my card from my own bank, maybe I won't have to pay any fees. Surely, if I do it 10 times a month and pay maybe 1 or 2 euros each time, it will start to add up to 10 or 12 euros a month. It's the same with bank transfers. Optimizing payments and expenses needs attention. And then, guys, it's simply a matter of habit and organization. I know maybe someone is thinking, oh my God, this is stressful. I have to keep track of all these things. Okay, but what I'm telling you is you won't get anxious. When you have to pay the bill and you don't have money in your account, you don't get anxious. When the month's almost over, you need groceries but have no money. So it's better to be careful and adopt a healthier financial lifestyle and then avoid stressing yourself out at the end of the month. Or what? Is it a matter of choices? Okay, I mean, I know what it means to struggle and it's not a good feeling. If someone says as soon as I get my paycheck, I go out to eat and stay somewhere else. Okay, but then maybe 10 to 20 days later, you regret it. So maybe it's better, to be more aware when we spend our money. 14 forgotten subscriptions. These also tie into the topic of waste. Because sometimes, for example, we have 5 or 6 streaming subscriptions, but then how many do you actually watch? I don't go to the movies, rarely go out, and hardly ever eat out now. So we have streaming subscriptions, we mainly have subscriptions. The girls wanted Disney Plus with ads, just the basic subscription. Other than that, we don't have any. Now, I have to be honest, lately there have been things I wanted to watch that were only available on streaming subscriptions I didn't have. And I'll tell you this, I wanted to subscribe to Now because there was something I wanted to watch, so I got a subscription just for me. With the entertainment package, there were 2 options. 5.99, but the subscription was for 12 months, or 8.99, and you could cancel easily after a month, meaning you could cancel whenever you wanted. The subscription lasted a month. Most people in a situation like this, what do they see? That 5.99 is less than 8.99. But if I look at the yearly expense, with 5.99 I end up spending roughly. It's around 72 euros with the monthly one instead. I subscribed for a month, I immediately watched everything I wanted to see, and then I cancelled the subscription. So I spent 8.99 euros instead of the 60 I would have spent. The same thing with the gym membership. This is also a bit of a trap because lately there are a lot of low-cost gyms around. It's true, you pay 20 euros, 25, 30 euros, you pay less. Compared to maybe a private gym, maybe smaller chains or gyms of a certain kind. That's true, but who knows why? There's only the annual membership, meaning you can't do monthly or quarterly like in other gyms. They might charge a bit more, but you can still do it. Why? Because they know very well that most people, 80% of those who start going to the gym stop going after a short time. So why should I care? I got you the annual membership, it's true, it's low cost, but you don't come to the gym, so you don't use the service, and I took a nice chunk of your money. Why should I care? Okay, this is kind of the gym business. So guys, watch out for forgotten memberships. Point number 15.
Upsell and cross-sell. Maybe these words sound strange to you, but what are upsell and cross-sell?
They're all those add-ons you get on e-commerce sites, but also at McDonald's, at Auto Grill, and in other places, basically all those extras they offer on top of what you're buying. To increase the average receipt, for example, when I visit Auto Grill, which is already pricey, they still try to upsell.
Do you want the Super Mega Arabica blend, which comes straight from Africa? The
Coffee costs about $1.70 or $1.80. Do you also want the
freshly squeezed juice? Do you also want the brioche? Do you want the special offer that if you take this, you get breakfast?
So instead of paying 1.40 or 1.50 for coffee, you might spend 3 or 4 euros, same at McDonald's. What do they ask when you order? Do they say, would you like to add anything?
This, do you also want to add that? Do you also want to add something else?
It's the same on Amazon. You bought this, do you want to add something? And then what happens is that they always suggest you cheap things. 1 euro, 2 euros. You barely notice and just think, for 1 euro, I'll add it. 1 euro here, 1 euro there, 1 euro to the right, 1 euro to the left. At the end of the month, maybe it's 200 to 300 euros, which is still better to keep in your pocket, especially if we're in a situation where our income isn't exactly what we'd like it to be.
Now, if you like this video, please also check out the offer you'll find in the link in the description to activate CyberGhost VPN.
With an 83% discount and 4 months free. And on top of that, you have a 45-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. That's it, guys. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with people around you who might have this kind of problem. Because it's a problem that doesn't just affect you, but affects a lot of people. So send it on WhatsApp, send it on Instagram, wherever you want, send it privately. Show it to the people around you because you might help someone who is in the same situation as you, or maybe even worse.
Guys, that being said, as usual, I'll see you around.